Hello, everybody. Welcome to your last note sections for digital learning. Whoop, whoop. Okay, and today is just going to be reviewing the methods for solving quadratic equations. And even though it is review, it's important to cover because it's going to ask that big question that's kind of been hanging over all of these sections. How do you know which method to use when solving for quadratic equations? Yes, you could potentially use more than one method to solve an equation, but sometimes using a certain method on certain equations can cause you to do more work. And I know y'all are about doing the minimal amount of work in order to solve. So today we're going to be analyzing each method and identifying when is it the best time to use each method. A little bit of refresher, the four methods we've looked at are factoring, square root property, completing the square, and the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's identify when it's best to use those. All right, I have a nice little chart that I'm going to be filling out as I'm going through. You're more than welcome to copy this down. It might be a nice little cheat sheet for you. Okay, factoring. You're going to kind of like laugh at this explanation, but the best time to use factoring is when the equation is factorable. All right. I like to compare this to when we were looking at just factoring in general. The first step you use when trying to factor is identifying if you have a GCF. Well, when solving quadratic equations, the first thing you're going to check is, can I factor? Because this will be the quickest method where you can separate your equation into those two parentheses and just solve within both of those parentheses. So if you're able to do this, this will kind of be like your number one guy to go to, your starting place. You'll use the square roots property if there is no bx term. Because then you can move that c over to where, in standard form, that 0 would be located at, and take the square root and solve for x. All right? We talked about when it's best to use the complete the square method when we did that sections of notes. It's when you don't have that perfect square trinomial. But another hint of when to use complete the square is when you have your a value equal to 1. Okay, you can use it if that a value is not equal to 1, but it's better used when it's not. And also your b is even. And this is kind of like that crucial one, your b being even, because you can divide it by 2 and then add it so you can create that perfect square binomial. And then finally, the quadratic equations, you can use that for everything or all other cases. So you're going to have a quiz coming up on Wednesday. And no, you cannot just learn one method and use that method for everything. Okay? Part of the quiz is going to be, hey, use each method once. And then the rest of the quiz is going to be choose your favorite property, okay? Or your favorite method for solving.